Let's hear it.
We're back.
Pew, pew, pew. After the longest
Been
hiatus
hot
ever.
second. Folks, we had some stuff going on.
We
I mean,
tried. I
we did
looked,
try.
we recorded in September and then
We forgot what we recorded.
I remembered, but I got hit by a freight train that is back to school sports,
Yeah. Elisa is coming into the era of kids' activities.
which is so minimal, mind.
Yep. But it still is a little bit of an adjustment.
It is like the school emails are crazy.
Yes.
And then the team emails are crazy. I think you said this. You want to set up an email specifically for
Yes.
your kids
Yeah. Yeah.
to get all this stuff. So you don't miss it with all the spam that we get in our inbox.
Right. And I have 14,000 unread messages in my email. So it's more likely that I will miss your email or your invoice or your invitation to all the things.
I also
But
somewhere that you should set up your kids' email and then send all their take pictures of their artwork and stuff or memorable moments and send it to that email and then they turn an age and you have all this stuff for them. Which is slightly reminiscent of like mom keeping a box of my schoolwork and then dumping it off at my house. Our mom.
I know. And then what do we do with it now, though? Because now I have all this crap and I'm slowly building all this crap for my kids I don't think my boys are going to care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm not a boy. I care. I'm looking at 5 baby books right now and I love looking through them. I love showing my kids, but I don't know for what.
Anyways, that's why we didn't
Anyways,
come back.
well, and I went away on a trip and then I moved.
Yes.
And it was just a lot. There was a lot going on. There still is a lot, but here we are.
Let's hope this one makes it to publish.
The hormones have spoken, people.
Yes. Let's start there. Where are you at in your cycle?
I am in my,
I think we're in the same.
is the follicular phase
Yep.
or luteal? Follicular.
Ovulation.
I don't think I'm close to ovulation, but I'm not there yet.
I have a question. I don't think ovulation is a day. It's like a couple of days.
No, it's a couple of days. It's like 4 days, isn't it? That's was the thing. Like to get pregnant, you only had 4 days or 5 days out of the month or 3 days, whatever it is.
Yeah. Mine says this is, of course, our Stardust app. This is the good mood phase of your cycle. Your hormones are collaborating to provide focus, energy, and relaxation. Why can't it always be like this? Why
Right?
can't
And
it?
we always talk about that because we think of how ridiculous it is. It says, although ovulation is a 1 day occurrence each month, don't think you can only get pregnant 1 day out of the month. Conception can occur within a 6 day window, the 5 days leading up to the ovulation and the day of ovulation. Good to know. I mean, not good to know because I'm done having kids and it doesn't
Good
matter,
to
but
know because I am still fertile and not using protection.
idiots. That's what we call you is idiots. Yeah, I didn't know it was the days leading up to ovulation. It's
I know.
amazing that we get pregnant at all. My husband always
I know.
loves that time of month because then you just want to have sex all the time, not because you love him, but because you want a baby.
I've been having this conversation with some of my friends that the reason we get so irritated by everyone, like our husbands, after we ovulate, PMS feelings,
Hmm.
it's because it's your like prehistoric brain body being like, he didn't do his job. He didn't get you pregnant. He's the worst. You need to get rid of him. Right?
Oh,
It makes
fine.
sense
Yes.
because like that's why they even say like women are naturally attracted to like big strong men,
Right.
for whatever. It's because historically it was like, okay, he's going to help fight off the lions and tigers and bears that are going to eat me. That's why I want
Right.
to do something like that. Not that's obviously not the case anymore, but our like lizard brain still does that. And so then I've decided, me and one of my girlfriends were saying that, yeah, you're irritated and you're annoyed because your body's like, nope, this is punishment. We need to get rid of him. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. Go find
Okay,
somebody.
so then what happens when you're like, but I guess once you have menopause, you don't get your period, but do you still get PMS? I guess not. Do
No.
you
So
still get,
I talked to my naturopath about this. I was like, what happens? Because we're still on the path of like, I don't even know. This is bad. I don't even know where we left off with my testing. Did we talk about my results?
well, why don't you, I don't think so. Why don't you kind of go through
Okay.
where, so I'm in my cycle, I'm about to ovulate and I'm in the very good feelings and lots of energy. But it's shitty because it's only for literally 5 days and then you start your decline again. So
And in a bigger scope, you're like slowly entering perimenopause.
yeah, like I'm for sure. I'm have now been prescribed progesterone, as mine is so low, and each month my periods are like they're late,
Longer.
longer and longer. So like
Stretch it
last
to-
month I was 3 days late. The month before that I was 5 days late. So I definitely am getting into that phase of perimenopause, which you can be in forever. So I mean, it's not like I'm like we've discussed, you have to be zero periods for a full year to
Stupid.
be in menopause.
Okay.
But yeah, tell us about your journey and you've done your Dutch test and
So I did the Dutch test, got my results. I don't think we've recorded since.
no, I don't think we have.
Dutch test was also very easy. You just have to pee on a strip. Although I told you I couldn't drink coffee and I had the worst headache. And I was like, and I only drink 1 cup of coffee
Mhm.
a day. And not even like really strong coffee. It's an espresso. It's not like I had an espresso the other day and then a real coffee from a coffee store.
Mhm.
And I felt so gross and jittery. That's
Mhm. I
anyways.
really didn't know there was a difference.
Like a cup of coffee versus like it all has different levels of caffeine in it.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We could look
Because
that up.
like now I'm using, okay, we're just totally going off topic here, but just for 5 seconds, I'm using like this new coffee machine, the Miele that's built in, but I'm using coffee beans. So that's real coffee, is it not?
Yeah. Okay. This is not a good
Because
thing.
I only recently started drinking coffee again because I love it, the coziness of it, and it's cold out,
To
and the hot
reason.
water and lemon just not cutting it for me anymore.
Okay. Starbucks tall coffee has what is that? Milligrams of caffeine. So like over 250. Instant coffee has like 50 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay.
Old large coffee has under 150. So yeah, it's all different.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's why I was like the coffee I think at this coffee shop was so strong that I had to like lay down. Like I was like
But did you have like a coffee?
I had it was Monogram's pumpkin spice latte.
Okay, so that's like
An espresso.
a shot of espresso.
Yeah. Oh, and I already had a coffee. I hadn't eaten much. I was at the
Okay, well,
hairdresser. You know at the hairdresser and you're there for like 4 hours and then
yeah.
all of a sudden you're like starving,
Mm-hmm.
dehydrated. Like you come out of there kind
Mm-hmm.
of like you
Yeah.
walk all of the pyramid triangles or whatever.
Okay, so anyway, sorry. You weren't allowed to drink coffee.
So anyways, I wasn't allowed to drink coffee. That was the only thing that sucked because I had a headache. But
Yeah.
you have to like pee on the strips and it's 2 days.
Yeah.
Anyways, get the information back and it's so interesting, right? It talks about how I'm gonna butcher all of this. I need to have my naturopath on the podcast to talk about it because she's so
Yeah.
smart and she explains it so well.
Well, that's what we should do. We'll have her on to explain your results.
Yes. Well, and I will give up my interpretation from it was right. Your body processes estrogen through your liver, and it comes out in 3 different estrogens: E1, 2, and 3. E1 is actually your carcinogenic one, and mine was high. And she was like, "That's interesting because you were diagnosed triple negative breast cancer, which means it wasn't hormone driven."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "There's a lot of reasons why this could be." I believe she said, it could be a what is this thing called?
Thyroid.
Could be a thyroid thing, could be low in iodine, could be low in iron. So she's like, we need more blood testing to really figure this out. Also, this one I found out I have a lazy liver because
Right.
I don't process. She was like, you're not methylating cortisol, I want to, or methylating something properly. And she was like, do you get really hungover? I said, yes, more than anybody else, like more than I really should.
Yes.
A lot of it makes sense. So anyways, got it all back. A lot of good information. I need to go for additional testing, which I have to still call my doctor about. I'm so curious because in our medical system, she was like, you need to get your vitamin D level checks. And if you don't have a good enough, not even just a reason, a good enough reason why you're doing extra blood work, they won't do it, which is
Yeah.
just infuriating as always. And regardless, I was like, I'll go and just pay to get it done. Because the plan here is the next steps too is then to really understand how my body's processing estrogen, how to get it doing it properly so that everything is balanced, and then really beef up my adrenals because I didn't know once your ovaries stop producing your hormones, it lands onto your adrenals. So you still get, I believe, progesterone and estrogen from your adrenals when you're in menopause. It's just not like nearly as fast. And that was one thing.
Mm.
All your hormone levels are like great. They're all doing their thing. It's
So
pumping.
you're not in perimenopause.
So I'm not, which sucks. I'm like, I still have years of my youth
Yeah.
that I won't because so then once
Right.
I get my ovaries out, we want to make sure that A, my adrenals can handle the load, and B, if I'm going to go on hormone replacement therapy, that we A already know how my body processes hormones and what my levels, how we can better replicate my natural optimal level, right? Which led me to think of all the women in the past who went on hormone therapy and they were like, give this a try. Let's try this. Let's try this. And I'm like, why aren't you testing to see how their body's processing the hormones in the first place?
Right.
So infuriating.
Sorry, got a text from my son saying, thanks for packing me a lunch. And I realized I forgot to give him my credit card to buy a lunch today. And
Like,
so yeah, just in this exact moment. Sorry. And that crazy thing
you need to
about,
send him.
I, it's too late now. Lunch is over. He'll just be starving after school and in a very bad mood. He'll survive.
Perimenopause 101.
And I find it interesting too, because we have a close family friend who went on all the hormone replacements and kind of was that like, oh, well, let's try this one. And she did end up with breast cancer. And so I think that you have to be very careful when you're just because that's why it's so important to get your blood work done.
Well, look, I talked to her about that this past whatever weekend that was. And she was like, of course, they can't definitively say this is why you got breast cancer. We don't know. And she was like, I'd do it again. Even if I knew that that's why I got breast cancer, I would do it again because she was so dysregulated and unable to cope with life without going on hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, so it's like, we can't treat it like it's bad. You can't do it because for some women, it is the only way for them to, get through.
Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, and even then it's like, there's like, back in the day, had they tested before, like I said, and made sure she was processing her hormones optimally before menopause, beefing up her adrenals and done all this stuff, preventative work, would it have been, such a drastic crash
Yeah.
for her?
Yeah.
So
And
just like,
this is kind of why we're here. There's so many, I was having a chat with my girlfriend and her doctor has said, this is hockposh. There's no real such thing as perimenopause and you shouldn't be doing hormonal therapy until you're in menopause. And, you know, it's unfortunate that we have such an array of information coming at us. And you do get those doctors that are old school, let's say, that really don't believe in like pre-treating hormones and that because she says, your hormones change every day. And yes, that is true. But if you can kind of get a general sense of where your hormones are. So like for me, my progesterone is so low that even when I ovulate, it doesn't come to normal levels. I clearly need to be taking progesterone. Now, I haven't started because my doctor did say that it could potentially mess up my period really bad. And my period's not really bad. She just said it would make it very spotty. And my period's already pretty bad. So I'm a little hesitant right now. But I think it's so important for us to have that knowledge going into it. And I don't understand why there's just such this hesitation
yeah,
to further your health, help you make you feel better. Like it just kind of just blows my mind.
I feel like I always wonder too if it's because of the lens I have on where I'm right. There is a name for it, right? If you buy a red Honda Civic, you see red Honda Civics everywhere. And so
Right.
because I'm in the space of wanting to learn more about, hormonal changes, menopause, I feel like I see it everywhere now.
Well, I think there's a big push for it right now. I think women are finally standing up and saying, "No, I'm not okay with feeling like this, and I know there's stuff out there that can make me feel better." And I think we're getting some doctors saying, "Yes, you're absolutely right." And what isn't right is that it's not part of healthcare system. And I will further this that I am part of a private healthcare system, and they're now telling us that we need to pay for those blood tests that we would get done yearly on top of what I already pay, which is complete BS.
Yeah.
It can help the like mental health in women with menopause, postpartum, PMS, all of the things that destroys women, and that needs to be taken more serious than it is.
It's baffling. And I think we can all agree on that part. And who was I just talking to about this? Your friend one night about how we're learning all this stuff. And then we're like, oh, great. Birth control pill format is awful. Like we're learning about that. But now having daughters too, it's like, well, how do we trudge a better path forward for them? Like,
Right.
what are your options? What are you going to do? I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
So, we're going to discover it. I feel like we're going into a new season. We're going to bring in, like I said, naturopath. Even like I want to bring the gal who does my skin in to talk about like skin as it ages.
Mhm.
I have another client I used to work with who's like a pleasure expert, like not a sex expert. She's more about like pleasure and how we're taught about pleasure when we're younger, which I think would be really cool.
And you had a sleep person too, I think,
I
that we
did.
were talking to.
What about, yeah,
That it was like a pillow.
yeah, supplements. There's so many things. And also you don't want to like, you want to be wary and not just take things because somebody tells you to, or
Yes.
oh, this works for her, it's gonna work for me, because that's the most infuriating. No, I keep saying infuriating. I'm gonna stop saying that word. The worst part is that it is so personal.
Yes. And I think that's the big thing too, like those BAAs and all that stuff that's out there. Take them because they're not going to hurt you. And it's good to get those vitamins into you. But one person's experience with them may not be yours. You may not notice any difference, whereas one person was like, this is life changing. And so it's important to keep that in mind. I think a big stipulation against naturopaths is you've just paid $500 to do this test, and now here's $1,000 worth of supplements that I want you to take monthly. And it's like 9 pills a day, and you're just like, this is not sustainable. So you have to find your own path in this as well. I suck at taking pills. I'm very good, like when we talked to Aeon, they said, if anything, vitamin D, omega, and magnesium. Those are the three that you absolutely should be taking every day. And I do take magnesium every night.
Yeah. I loved it. My naturopath too, she wasn't like, here's a list of things to take. She said, take a picture of what you have in your cupboard right now, and we'll go over that.
Yeah.
And most of them, she was like, yeah, you could start taking those again. Because I went through a phase where I was taking everything, and then I was scared the world was going to end and was thinking, what if or like, they're putting all these crackdowns on Canada's naturopathic industry and natural
Yeah.
supplements. And then I was like, I need to be able to live optimally without having to take like 10 vitamins and minerals and pills every day. So I stopped taking everything. And now she's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we could probably bring some of these back in to your diet.
Yeah. And I think too, like we should find somebody to speak about nutrition and what,
Yeah.
right? Like instead of taking this supplement, just eat more of this and add this into your diet. And
I saw a crazy hot take that I thought was interesting. It went through historically how different generations, with an invention of a new product like margarine or low fat or no sugar, it was like, I think the 80s or the 90s where it was no sugar everything, no sugar pop, but it was, instead of no sugar, they used something else, which was
Mhm.
now we know is not good for you, the thing that they supplemented it with.
Mhm.
And right now the big trend is protein, and they're coming out with protein everything.
Yes.
And so it's kind of interesting. It's like in a couple of years, 10 years, who knows how long, are we going to look back and be like, ooh, that form of protein we are eating, or that, I don't know if it would be the level, but it's like, is actually not good for you.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
You know,
I feel like everything that was a fad.
I sometimes see those things where I'm like, yes, protein is good for you, but like get it from plant or animal source, 90% of it. And if you need to supplement, because I see people that are like when I look up protein recipes,
Yeah.
it's all like just add a scoop of protein powder. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
No. And I think too, a lot of what we're seeing too is those like, I find if it's easy and out of a package,
It's not good.
it's not good for you. So people that are drinking these amazing protein drinks that are 20 grams of protein and you get in bulk from Costco, be careful. Do not be drinking 3 of those a day. That is not good for you.
Everything in moderation. And yeah, definitely if it's convenient, if it's too convenient, too easy, pre-packaged, like even protein bars, it's like not all that's all that good for you. Or like, what
No.
else are they putting in there?
What are the fillers in there? And what kind of protein is it? And yeah, it's just to me, you've got to be careful, and nutrition and health is not easy. It's not doesn't come from a package. Be mindful of that. But we're going to find all the people to answer all these questions. And if you have things you want us to talk to us, slip into our DMs.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
We record, I don't know how many episodes we did before. What do you want to do more of? And what do you want to change?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you personally.
I
How many episodes we
I
did?
want more expert because we do not have the answers. And I want us to try more things. Like I said I was going to
I
try the
like that.
Kegel balls and I never did, and I'm going to get them.
It showed up at 5. I'm like, we did more than 5 episodes. We did 17, which is pretty
Okay,
good.
I was like, I thought we did more than 5.
Yeah, I think we should find. Okay, let's make it our mission to find more products. One of them, too, my skin gal, because I was like, how do I just lift? Like, my one eyebrow is a little bit droopy. She was like, do you sleep on that side? And I was like, she's like, you should be sleeping on your back.
Ugh.
She said, there's a pillow you can get that does that for you that I would try. And then I watched Death Becomes Her.
Great
There's an
movie.
opening scene where Meryl Streep is like got all this stuff on her face. She's sleeping and she's literally like sleeping, sitting up like this. And I was like, oh my
Yes,
God, it's been a
that's
thing.
what I think that's what J-Lo does.
She does a lot of things.
She's
I've heard that she like barricades herself in so she sleeps on her back. I mean, a couple facelifts don't hurt either.
no, but God, look at her. Sign me up
So
for it
yeah,
all.
we'll try other things.
Yeah, try the things. And yeah, if you're really curious about something, let us know and we will find the answer. But we're going to head full steam ahead this season and
We're
we're
committing
excited. We're
right now.
committing.
Shaking.